Greetings from Scouse Farm in a beautiful field. Well, the field isn't beautiful, but I suppose it is. But it is a beautiful day, and as we're coming into growing season, I just wanted there's subjects I don't usually cover on the channel. I want people to know that they can come and watch my videos without being bombarded with constant negativity and news subjects and politics, things like that, things that in my view people should do far less of. But as we're going to start growing soon and it's spring, last year for the first time I noticed a considerable, and I mean considerable, increase in air activity around Liverpool, and with this air activity, it left a lot of what people just think are clouds, but they're not clouds. They're absolutely not clouds. And I'm not going to go into what the background is or why I believe and others believe it's happening, but there's plenty of research out there. There's plenty of channels who've covered this way more in depth than I have, so I'll leave that as a little research point if you wish to take it up, or just a point of note for those who just want to listen to what I'm about to say. So I'm concerned about low levels of light and certain chemicals being rained down from the sky into my soil, which I try and keep as organic and natural as possible by making my own compost, so I know exactly where the feed material has been sourced from, where it's come from. And you can never be completely organic. I think that unless you live in a quite sterile life, you're not going to get that. But I try and do the best I can to make sure that the food I do grow has the most nutrition possible, and it gives me pleasure to see it grow in what I've created from previous year's waste. So we can see up there we've got clouds. So that's a cloud. We all know what they are. We've had them in the sky all our lives. They look the same as they always did. There's a few more there. Clouds, they're clouds. We're happy with that. But what's behind the clouds is trails, lots of trails. And these trails don't disappear. Like when I was a kid, I used to always look up at the sky, always, and I used to count how many seconds the contrails, which is like just the condensation trails and the exhaust from aircraft, took to disappear, basically, from when the plane flew overhead. And if you look now, you'll see so many condensation trails, which they're not condensation, they're chemical. And there's one flying now, another one. Let's get him up there. That is going to hang around in the sky for a long time, and surprise the wind's just picked up while I'm making a video, which is a pain. But you'll see there's a few more there, and not only are they just flying straight, you'll see many angles and kinks in the clouds. So some of the aircraft actually just fly around and then come back the way they came, fly off somewhere else. And you can see a distinct turn off with this one, and it just turns again and off it goes. And then over time all of this forms a haze, and you can't really differentiate between what is created by the aircraft and what is natural cloud formation. And the levels of light last year, there's one perfect example. There's a direction you can see there. Now look, it's literally doing a massive turn, and there's no airport that way. It's too high to be coming in for a landing, so it's just randomly changing direction. And when you go on holiday, the only time you really notice that your aircraft is making a turn is when it takes off and has to get onto its flight path. And by the term of the name path, it means a flight path. So it's a predetermined route from A to B, so that if there is, God forbid, an accident on the way, you will know where the plane started, where it finished, and the likely route it was taken. But the only time you ever see turns like that is when you're either taking off and getting onto the path, or you're approaching the airport you're going to land at, and then you again start making a descent. So you might have to go to a different runway depending on which way the wind's blowing, etc. Or if a runway is out of use because of whatever reason, a plane might have broken down on a runway, so you have to come in and approach from a different direction. But all of that sort of stuff happens at the very end of the flight when you're coming into land. But with these, what they call clouds, which are happening right above your eyes every single day, this one now, the chemical trail is now forming what could be mistaken for an actual cloud. So when a lot of these planes are flying over and they're crisscrossing in a matrix, what I call like a Belgian waffle pattern, so they go in, one will go that way, bit to the left, bit to the left, bit to the left, another one will come across this way, this way, this way, and over time you do that so many times you can create an actual haze. And this haze is blocking out the light, and I personally believe it's full of toxic chemicals that when it does rain they then descend. You're breathing it in, it's going into the water supply, it's certainly going into the food and the soil, and it's not normal. It is not normal. This is not just random planes flying over that have suddenly developed terrible exhaust pipes. And if you take your, like a friend of mine pointed out to me, I'll try and angle away from the wind, if you take your car for an MOT and they think, oh, your emissions are just a little bit off, you can't drive that car, they condemn your car, it ends up getting squashed. But look at what's happening above your head. How is that nice? How is that healthy? How is that good for this environment they keep talking about so much but doing so little about? So you being alive as a human is not a crime. It's not your fault that your soil, your food, your existence is being destroyed by governments across the world, and your life is being made harder and more expensive just to do normal everyday things. And there's the second military aircraft I've seen fly over today. There, that's a military transport aircraft there, you can see. And there's the second one. And other than air shows, I'm seeing a lot more of them as well, being flown over cities and not just sticking to around the air bases where they come from. But have a little look up. As I say, I'm not going to do many of these videos, but I'm starting to grow my food again. And last year, 2024, was the worst ever growing year I've known in my life. And that wasn't just anecdotal, that was, oh, there's a big dog coming up to me. Nice one, mate. Got a little partner there. But that's not anecdotal to me and Liverpool. That is, I watch gardening channels from all over the planet, and everyone's saying the same thing. If you're growing and you're a farmer and you're trying to do the right thing, grow your food organically without chemicals and fertilizers and all this sort of stuff, you know, you're being punished by government policy. And anyone who's been, I don't watch the news, I don't have a television, but I'm not completely isolated from life. I do use YouTube, being a YouTube creator, and I also watch farming videos on YouTube, and I know they're under attack worldwide, not just in the UK by this horrific government we've got now. They are under attack all over the planet, and your food is becoming more expensive when it should be cheaper, because it's so easy to grow. When you leave us alone and leave the farmers alone, let them grow your food in the right way, let them remove chemicals from the manufacturing process, and you'll get great nutritional food. But last year was a terrible year for growing food, and they're starting already to completely block out the rays of the sun from the sky. And you might think it can't be done, but just you should keep watching how quick it can happen in a certain small spot. So you just keep an eye out and you'll see the clouds above your head. They're not really clouds. And there's the church, West Derby Church in the background there. The bells have just been tolling. So thank you all very much for watching. A lot of people probably wouldn't have enjoyed the video, but I had to put it out because I am growing food and it is concerning what is happening, and the wind is picking up quite a lot, so I'll leave it there. So again, thank you all very much for watching. Have yourselves a great day. and Scouse Farm. We'll see you all again soon.